In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to play and write bass lines. All right, we're going to go through the procedure for how to do the third common pattern, which is bass lines. I'm going to start with a blank screen and sound trap, and I'm going to click add a new track. So this time, instead of doing a piano or a keyboard, I'm actually going to click guitar and bass, so we can actually get some bass sounds for our bass line. It's going to bring up your instrument, and we can see that we can play it just like the piano. But we can also tell that this is right now just a regular electric guitar and not a bass sound. So we're going to click right here where it says rock. That is our sound patch. So we're going to click that and change it. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 categories of bass sounds. So we're going to pick from one of these. The first one is an acoustic bass, which is kind of like a very large cello, an upright bass. We can't use that because you need to have the paid version for that. But there are plenty of electric basses, which are kind of like bass guitars. You might find in like a rock band. There's also 808 kicks. That's a really common sound in hip hop right now. And also a classic synth bass. You're gonna hear synth bass in a wide variety of genres. For my first example, I'm gonna use this one, the conduit bass. All right. So again, remembering that to make a bass line, you need to be in a low octave. Let's hear how low this sounds. Cool. So this instrument sounds like it's really set up for bass sounds. And this one I might not want to go too much lower than C1. For this example, we're going to need to set a 4-bar drum loop. When we're using bass, we're going to use actually longer notes than we are used to. So let's click our loop bar, get that turned on, and set a 4-bar loop. Again, playing a bass line along to nothing is not that interesting, so we're going to need to add a little drum pattern. I'm going to use that same pattern I used before. Kick on 1, snare on 3. You can see my pattern right here. And instead of writing this pattern in each block, what I can do is find the loop right here. If I hover my mouse over that top right corner where that loop is, it says loop. I can click that, drag it out, and it's just going to loop whatever is in the first bar. I'm just going to bring that through so it's the whole 4 bars, and let's hear how that sounds. All right, so we have a pretty solid drum beat right now. I'm going to go back to the conduit bass by clicking the Show Instrument button. Here, I can play this just like I've been playing before. But we actually need to find our common patterns. So our common patterns are here. These are common bass lines that I've heard from songs on the radio today, and some even from longer ago. Some of these are definitely from songs that you've heard before, though. So if you think you can tell which songs connect to these bass lines, please let me know. Like I said yesterday, you can find what note is what on the keyboard by clicking it. So here I've got F, G, and A, B, C, so forth. If I look at our first common pattern for bass lines, it says A, F, G. That is exactly what I mean. So we're going to click an A, the F, and then the G. So I'm going to try to play this. I don't want my patterns to be too quick for a bass line. You want to kind of stay on the same note for a bar. Sometimes you can do half a bar, but mostly you want to do a full bar or even 2 bars. So I'm going to do 1 bar on A, 1 bar on F, 1 bar on G. Now that I know which notes I'm going to play, I'm going to check my computer keyboard. I see N, V, B. Those are the keys I'm going to press to get my letters. If you have this on mobile or tablet, you can just play it. I'm going to play using my keyboard. All right, so now I've got my common pattern. At this point, you have 2 options. You can create variations, 5 variations on this one bass line, or you could create another variation using a different bass line. So if I wanted to just stick with bass lines that are in the common pattern, I might try this one next. This one is D, C, B flat. So I'll erase that. So the notes again were D, C, B flat. To play that on the keyboard, it's going to be a period, a comma, and J. Here we go. I might change up the rhythm a little bit this time. There we go. So I just added 1 extra note. I just went back up. So you can see that bass line went down. To make it a little more of a loop, I went back up to C. You don't have to do that. It just has to follow the common pattern to start. As I said before, you could make all of your variations by just picking each one of these patterns. Or you could make a variation on several variations on one pattern. So to switch this up, I'm going to change the rhythm. Let's hear how that sounds. That's already a little bit more interesting. And that would be my second variation. When labeling your track, you're going to need to refer to the common pattern idea pool to know exactly how to do that. Since there are, in this case, 5 different common patterns to choose from, you're going to need to use the common pattern code that you used. So if you picked this for your bass line, A, F, G, then your pattern code would be, or your title of your file would be your name, the pattern code, attempt, and variation number. So to complete this assignment, you could do AFG 1.1 through 1.3, and then maybe do CDCF 1.2 and 1.1, as long as it still equals 5. If you are using the create your own baseline, using the pattern, the scale guide, you would use MOB or my own baseline for that variation.